Holy crap. What types? What the? Are you kidding me? Forget it, this is too long. What types of people do you enjoy being around?
It depends on the situation.
It really depends on what I'm doing at the moment and what kind of mood I'm in. Um, you know, I've had friends that I just, enjoy doing certain things around, but not other things. For instance, if I only have like 10 minutes to talk, I will welcome a conversation with my ISFJ friend, because we'll always have like something interesting to talk about in those 10 minutes. Anything beyond those 10 minutes, I'd rather talk with someone else because the ISFJ just goes into kind of pointless small talk at that point. I've had like INFP friends that I've had really good conversations with, like over dinner or something, and those same INFP friends made horrible movie viewing companions because they would just inject their own critiques of scenes that I was enjoying. I have an ESTJ friend that I really enjoy hanging around when he can show me like stuff about the latest technology. But if I'm not in the mood for that, then I just get easily annoyed by his non-stop talking. I've also known an ENFJ and possibly an INFJ or two that are really good at getting me to talk about deep personal issues, and so they are really good to go to for that. But there are other times when I just don't feel like talking about deep personal issues, and they try to get me to talk about them anyway. So at that point, I might be like, ESTJ, where are you? So really, it just depends on what situation I'm in and what these various people have to offer.
What traits in a person do you get a negative reaction from?
Well, if by negative reactions you mean like outwardly apparent reactions, then there's only a few situations that would cause that. Because most of the time, I mean, there are plenty of things that I don't like about other people, but I'm usually pretty good at just keeping those opinions to myself. But as far as actual reactions, let's see. One might be people that try to get into my business when I didn't give them permission to do so. Like if my mom, for example, tries to tell me how I should organize my kitchen or when I need to clean my bathroom or stuff like that, things that I as an adult should be able to decide on my own, then yeah, I'm gonna have a sort of negative reaction to that. People who force me to give them their attention for something that benefits only them and does nothing for me. If I'm going to do something for someone's benefit, it has to be voluntary. Don't grab my attention and then have it turn out to be something really stupid. Or if it's like for their own entertainment, like they just want to see how I react to something, and then it turns out to be something that I myself don't find the humor in. So, they're basically laughing at my expense and forcing me to be directly involved in it. If I can ignore them, then I'm fine. If you force me to pay attention to you and the entire ordeal is at my expense, you're going to have a bad time.
What are friendships and relationships about?
They're about people being friends and relating to each other. I don't know, just look up whatever it says in the dictionary about the words friendship and relationship. And that's basically what they mean to me, and not really much else.
What was the last book you read? What did you like or not like about it?
Probably one of these Enneagram books. I guess this one was the most recent. Enneagram, Christian Perspective. Not even sure if I read the whole thing. Well, I mean, it had some decent descriptions of each of the Enneagram types, and then it just kind of got boring at some point. Easy enough for me to just kind of pick and choose which parts are relevant to me, and even if I identify stuff in, stuff that's written that I don't agree with, I could still get something out of other parts of it. So.
Which personality differences caused the last conflict you were in?
Assuming my last conflict even had anything at all to do with personality differences. Wait. What was my last conflict? I don't remember. I cannot remember what my last conflict was. Well, does it count if I chose not to say anything and the other person didn't even know there was a conflict? Because, there was a guy that I think is probably an ESTJ. I was asking him, if the new microphones that we're using are actually better in sound quality than the old ones we're using. And so, that was my actual question. I was asking specifically if these new microphones were actually making a difference between the old microphones. And he answered, he was like, yes, these are, however much they cost, and the old ones weren't even designed to be used in that way. Which wasn't the question I asked. I asked if they were actually making a difference in sound quality, and he answered using, a justification with how expensive they were and what they were designed to do. Well, the thing is, I just didn't really feel like starting an argument because, he's the sound expert, and I'm just, kind of still learning stuff. But I really did feel like I was justified in saying, that's not the question I asked. I wanted to know if by listening to it you can actually tell the difference. And maybe, in a way he was saying that, yeah, it did make a difference, but he just kind of wanted to explain why. But, if I had decided to keep the discussion going, maybe he would have clarified that, but I don't know. But yeah, I don't know if that really counts as a conflict, but I can't remember any others that I've had recently. So I'll just go with that.
Which topics stimulate your mind?
Well, I guess in a sense ASMR kind of literally stimulates my mind, but I guess that's not what you're really talking about. I guess anything where I can just analyze the situation, pick out details, figure out which details are relevant, which ones aren't, tie them all together, form a conclusion, and it could be anything from other people's relationship issues to stuff happening on The Walking Dead, or figuring out ways that you could cross over certain TV shows, how characters from, say, Once Upon a Time could solve the zombie apocalypse from The Walking Dead. Crazy stuff like that. That can stimulate my mind.
How important are verbal commitments or contracts?
It really depends.
It depends on the situation.
It depends on what the contract or agreement is for. Some agreements are obviously more important than others. If someone agrees to do something that's like a really crucial role in some project I'm involved in, then yeah, I'm gonna expect that person to hold to their part of the agreement. And if we might be screwed if they don't follow through, and then that person's gonna be in big trouble. But on the other hand, if it's something like someone saying, "Oh, I'll buy you lunch sometime," that's no big deal. I'm gonna eat anyway, and I might get a little annoyed if the person never follows through on that, but I'm not gonna make a big thing out of it. So, yeah.
Do you dislike some laws, or do you think that most of them serve a good purpose?
Oddly enough, there aren't that many laws that I really despise, because there are laws that I don't agree with. I can get by. They don't cause a major inconvenience to me. Plus, I recognize that every law, even whether I agree with it or not, somebody wrote the law for a purpose. You know, I was going to try to think of some examples, but really, I already answered the question, so I'm just going to move on.
What makes you bored? What do you do when you are bored? Do you like sports, playing or watching?
No and no.
Do you like dedicating most of your free time learning, being productive, playing games, or socializing?
Out of those four choices, that's kind of tough. Okay, let's eliminate learning and socializing. I'm willing to do those things, but they're not my favorite things to do. So it's between being productive and playing games, which are kind of like complete opposites from each other. So it's a question of, do I prefer to do something I want to do now or something that I won't regret later? Because I enjoy playing games, I just don't because I end up not feeling productive when I do. But then again, when I have free time, I'm not that productive either. So, I guess since the question is asking how I like to dedicate my free time, then I'll just go with playing games.
What is the purpose of life?
Well, I'm just going to say with confidence that I don't know the answer to that question. The reason being, I believe that's something that God has determined for each person and has chosen not to fully reveal. He wants us, at least those of us who follow him, just to trust and obey him. And his purpose will be gradually revealed throughout each of our lives. So, that's just me coming from a Christian perspective. And if there's anything that's type related, that would just be kind of my attitude of just kind of taking a step back and just kind of not really caring what my purpose is, because all I'm concerned about is just living my life each day however God wants me to, and struggling to do that. So,
What is more important on a relationship basis? Raising the mood of others or finding out where you stand with others?
just from a theoretical standpoint, finding out where I stand. I mean, if it turns out I don't have a good relationship with somebody, why should I care about raising their mood? So it just makes sense to me that I should at least know where I stand with someone before I decide if I want to raise their mood.
How important is social status?
You mean like my social status or other people's? Because I don't give a rip about my own social status. I mean, I don't see like why that should matter to me or anybody else. And well, the only reason somebody else's social status would matter to me is if it's important to them, so that I know to avoid that person as best as I can.
Do you like theory beyond where it applies to you personally?
I would have said yes before I met a bunch of NTs online who like to come up with theories out of nowhere that had nothing to do with anything. Because, like, you know, I come up with theories that are somewhat related to a topic that I'm already interested in. And once I do, I will, once I form a theory, I'll be like, this is my theory. Whereas, like, INTPs, for example, will just take a theory and just keep on running with it and keep building off of it. And it's like a never ending process of extroverted intuition. So, yeah. If I'm around NTs too much, then it's like enough theory. But if it's like just me getting to theorize on my own, then yeah, I'll just have fun with it. I theorize about like what's happening on TV shows like Lost or Once Upon a Time or The Walking Dead. Those are obviously fictional stories that have nothing to do with my life, but they are things that I enjoy watching, and so I'm interested in theorizing about what the writers have come up with and what's yet to be revealed on the show. So that's the kind of stuff that I like to theorize about, if that's like really what this question is asking. But there you go.
Is it more important to enjoy your time or to get things done?
It kind of feels like a trick question, because it's like, well, I believe that it's more important to get things done. I think what it comes down to is like a lot of times I just don't even care what's important. So I'd rather just enjoy my time. If you look at my average behavior and how I actually spend my time, I spend way more time just doing things that I enjoy doing than actually getting things done. And yet I recognize the importance of getting things done, even though how I actually allocate my time doesn't seem to reflect that.
How important is planning in your life? Do you become frustrated when plans are changed?
Well, I guess you could say I plan only as much as I need to. Like if, I mean, there are obviously some things that require planning. Like, if I'm going to go somewhere that requires booking a flight, I obviously have to plan ahead for that. If I'm gonna meet a group of people somewhere, I have to plan for that. Otherwise, no one will know where or when to meet. But there are a lot of times when I'm just doing stuff by myself, and I just kind of decide, oh, I just feel like doing this, and I just go ahead and do it without making any plans for it. So I generally enjoy doing things that don't require planning, but sometimes I just do it just because I have to. Now that said, when I do have to make plans that involve other people, then yeah, I do get pretty frustrated when those plans get interrupted because of other people not doing their part. If somebody decides not to show up, then that screws up my plans. And then, unless I had a backup plan, which I usually don't because I don't like to plan, then, that's going to be a pretty messed up situation. That's why I generally try to stick to my plans when they involve other people, because I know that, when other people don't follow through on plans that I've agreed to, then, I know that's going to tick me off. So, I don't want to do that to other people. But that just goes back to the fact that the more ideal situation for me is to not have to make detailed plans.
How organized are you? Are you very organized or is it a struggle? Alright, you know what? Everyone's got their own idea of what it means to be organized. So instead of me trying to explain how organized I am, I'm just gonna show you.
Now check out this organization. I've got my recyclable items grouped into 3 bags. I've got recyclable items that I haven't gotten around to taking out, recyclable items that I still haven't gotten around to taking out, recyclable items that are still in the process of filling up the bag, trash, and 9-volt batteries that I haven't figured out how to dispose of properly. And here's how I organize my stacks of mail on the stairs. I got new mail at the top of the stairs. So I got my DVD collection organized by DVDs that fit across this mantle and DVDs that didn't fit across the mantle. Now this laundry basket here is organized into sort of a last in first out system. On the floor I got some things that kind of probably fell out at the top. Hey, check it out, I got all my tax documents organized into one stack from last year, or I guess this is 2 years ago. And I've even got a special room that I call the miscellaneous room. Check it out. And this is all miscellaneous stuff. Anything that doesn't have a proper place goes in this room.
That's it. I've answered all the questions. You happy now?